She lied to me about our child for months. I discovered my wife's shocking secret. It all started on a regular Thursday night. I came home late from work, exhausted, expecting the same quiet house. But something was off the second I opened the door. My wife's eyes glimmered strangely when she saw me, and she quickly shut the door behind her. I asked her what was wrong, but she just laughed nervously and said, "Nothing, go to bed." My heart pounded. I could feel that something was terribly wrong. A week later, I received an anonymous text on my phone. "The child isn't yours." My world stopped. I stared at the screen, trying to make sense of it. My hand shook, my stomach dropped. I searched the house, but there was no one there, no evidence, nothing. Just silence. Over the next few days, I noticed subtle changes in her behavior. Every word I said became a problem. Every action I took seemed to upset her. Yet she pretended everything was normal, laughing and cooking and going about her day. But I could feel it, a tension in the air that wasn't there before. The more I tried to ignore it, the more my mind spiraled. I started following her at night, trying to catch her in something, anything. One night, I saw her enter a building I'd never noticed before, and I felt a cold knot in my chest. My instinct screamed danger, betrayal, something I wasn't ready to face. But I couldn't turn away. The suspense consumed me, my curiosity mixing with fear. And that's when I found the first clue, something she had hidden in the glove compartment of her car. A tiny envelope marked with my initials, containing ultrasound photos, and a note that made my blood run cold. "You're not the father. Keep this secret, or everything ends." I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her smiling in the photos, holding a tiny hand that wasn't mine. The next morning, I confronted her casually, trying to sound normal. "Hey, what's this?" I asked, sliding the envelope across the table. She froze for a second, then quickly laughed it off. "Oh, that? It's nothing, just some old medical stuff. Don't worry about it," she said, but I saw the fear flicker in her eyes. That fear told me everything. I knew she was hiding something monumental, something that would shatter my life if I discovered the truth. Days passed, and my paranoia grew. I started noticing little inconsistencies. She would suddenly leave the house without explanation, take phone calls in another room, delete messages. One evening, I found her laptop left open, and my curiosity got the better of me. What I saw made me want to vomit. Emails, chat messages, and hidden accounts, all pointing to a secret life I never knew existed. A child, a different father, a web of lies so intricate that even Sherlock Holmes would be baffled. My mind raced. I wanted answers, but I also feared what I might learn. I followed her discreetly, tracking her movements, noting every unusual appointment and every late-night drive. One night, she parked at a hospital, a wing I had never seen her visit before. I waited, heart pounding, and then I saw her go in carrying a small bundle. My worst fears materialized in front of my eyes. I knew at that moment, the child she had given birth to wasn't mine. The revelation was crushing, yet it ignited a dangerous mix of anger and curiosity. I had to know why she had kept this secret from me for months, why she had lied, and most importantly, who was the father. The next morning, I couldn't act normal. I went to work pretending everything was fine, but every thought in my head was consumed by her secret. I kept replaying the images in my mind, the tiny baby that wasn't mine, the lies she had told for months. I started checking our home for anything else she might be hiding, messages, letters, receipts, anything. That's when I found a small, locked drawer in her bedroom. My heart raced as I forced it open, revealing a stack of documents, birth certificates, hospital records, and a diary. Her diary. I sat on the floor, shaking, and began reading. Each word cut deeper than a knife. She had written about her affair, the father of the child, and how she planned to keep it a secret from me forever. Tears burned my eyes, but rage filled my chest. How could she betray me like this? How could the woman I trusted with my entire life lie to me in the most devastating way possible? I felt like I was losing my mind, trapped in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. That evening, I decided to follow her again. She didn't know I had the diary. She didn't know I was on the brink of discovering everything. I trailed her to a nondescript apartment building downtown, and through a crack in the curtains, I saw her laughing with another man while holding the baby. My fists clenched, my legs shook. I wanted to confront her, scream, break everything around me, but I held back. I needed answers, and I needed them now. I had to uncover the full story behind this betrayal, and I realized that whatever I found next would change my life forever. The suspense, the fear, the anger, it all mingled into a storm that I couldn't control. Every decision I made in the next few hours would determine the course of my life, and I wasn't ready to face the consequences. That night, I couldn't sleep again. My mind was racing, imagining every possible scenario. I kept replaying the scene at the apartment, her laughing, the baby in her arms, the betrayal staring me in the face. I knew I couldn't confront her blindly. I needed proof, something undeniable. So, I decided to dig deeper into her life. I checked her phone when she was in the shower, scrolling through messages, social media, contacts. I found conversations with a man she called Alex, filled with dates, secret plans, and references to the baby. My stomach turned. I realized the affair had been going on for months, maybe even a year. My hand shook as I read the messages, sweet, intimate, horrifyingly familiar words that she had said to me in the past, but were now shared with someone else. I felt like I was suffocating. How had I not seen this coming? How could someone lie so perfectly, smile so convincingly, while hiding the deepest betrayal imaginable? The next day, I confronted her subtly, pretending I didn't know anything. "Do you have anything to tell me?" I asked casually, my voice calm, but my heart pounding. She hesitated, eyes flicking away, then smiled nervously. "No, why would I?" That smile, it was the one that made my blood boil. I realized she was testing me, seeing if I suspected. That night, I made a decision. I would follow her one last time, not just to see the baby, but to uncover the entire truth. I didn't care about consequences anymore. I parked across from the apartment again, waiting hours in the cold, shivering with anticipation and dread. And then, I saw them leave, the man, her, and the baby. They didn't notice me. My heart raced as I followed them to a remote cabin outside the city. Everything about this felt surreal. I knew I was stepping into something I might never recover from. But the moment I saw what happened next, I realized my life would never be the same. I parked my car a safe distance from the cabin, heart hammering in my chest. The night was silent except for the occasional rustle of leaves and distant barking dogs. I watched through my binoculars as they entered the cabin. The man, Alex, was holding the baby, laughing, while she smiled like nothing was wrong. My blood boiled, but I forced myself to stay calm, to observe, to gather every detail. Then, I noticed something even more shocking. Inside the cabin, there were more people. I counted at least 4 adults and another child. A family, or maybe some kind of hidden circle I had never known existed. I realized the betrayal went far beyond just an affair. She had been leading a completely double life. My mind raced, trying to piece together the puzzle. Who were these people? Why had she kept me completely in the dark? And most importantly, what did this mean for our future, for my life, for my trust? I decided I had to confront her soon, but I needed proof, something undeniable. I remembered the diary, the envelope, the photos, everything pointed to one terrifying truth. She had planned this for months. She had rehearsed every lie, every smile, every alibi, and I had fallen right into it. The storm of anger, confusion, and heartbreak inside me became unbearable. I wanted to scream, to destroy, to make her feel even a fraction of what I felt. But I knew I had to be smart. I had to uncover everything before taking any action. That night, I stayed in my car, waiting for them to leave. Hours passed. Then, suddenly, the lights went out. The cabin was dark. I strained my eyes, listening. A muffled cry, no, a scream, pierced the night. My heart stopped. Something had gone terribly wrong inside the cabin. My instinct screamed at me to rush in, but fear held me back. Whatever was happening inside, I realized it would change everything I thought I knew about my life, my wife, and the child that wasn't mine. And in that moment, I knew that nothing would ever be normal again. I couldn't stay in the car any longer. I grabbed my flashlight and cautiously approached the cabin, every nerve on fire. The muffled cries I heard before grew louder, and my stomach twisted with fear and rage. Peeking through a side window, I saw something I was not prepared for. She wasn't just holding the baby. She was arguing fiercely with Alex, and the other people inside were shouting too. Papers and documents were scattered everywhere, evidence of secrets beyond what I had imagined. One of them turned toward the window, and I ducked instinctively, my heart pounding like a drum. I realized this wasn't just about an affair anymore. It was a hidden life, a secret operation, something I couldn't yet understand. I remembered the diary, the photos, the envelope, all pieces of a puzzle that was slowly forming into something terrifying. Then, I saw her glance outside, eyes meeting mine for a fraction of a second. Fear, panic, and guilt flashed across her face. She knew I was watching. That single moment made my blood run cold. My mind screamed at me to leave, to run, but I couldn't. I needed answers. I needed to know why she had created this elaborate deception. I saw Alex take the baby upstairs and disappear. She lingered downstairs, looking torn, conflicted. Then she started talking on her phone, her voice low but urgent. I couldn't hear the other side, but the tone was enough. Threats, promises, lies. I felt the weight of betrayal more than ever. And then, she did something that froze me in place. She grabbed a small, locked box from a shelf, held it tightly, and whispered something to herself that sounded like a confession. My instinct screamed. That box contained the ultimate truth. Everything I had feared, every suspicion, every nightmare, it was all in that box. I had to get it. I had to know. But as I moved closer, ready to confront her, the cabin door burst open, and Alex appeared, his eyes locking on mine. The world seemed to stop. The confrontation I had been dreading, the revelation I had been waiting for, it was about to happen, and I realized that nothing would ever be the same again. Alex blocked my path, his eyes cold and unreadable. My hand shook, but I forced myself to stay calm. "Step aside," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, but inside I was a storm of anger, fear, and disbelief. He smirked, holding the baby protectively, and said, "You shouldn't be here. You have no idea what you're messing with." My heart raced. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about control, secrets, and power I didn't understand. I glanced inside the cabin and saw her standing frozen, the locked box still clutched to her chest. I realized that everything, the affair, the hidden life, the deception, was leading to this moment. I stepped closer, voice rising, demanding answers. "Why? Why did you lie to me? Why did you hide this from me?" She opened her mouth, hesitated, then finally spoke in a trembling voice. "I wanted to protect you, protect us. I didn't know how to tell you." My blood boiled. Protect me? Protect us? She had carried this secret for months. Let me live a lie while she created another life right under my nose. Alex tightened his grip on the baby and said, She's telling the truth, but you don't understand. There are things you can't even imagine. This child, it's not what you think." My mind raced, heart pounding. "Not what I think?" I demanded. "Then tell me. Tell me the truth." She looked at me, tears streaming, and whispered, The baby has a different father, but it's not just that. He's part of something bigger, something dangerous." I froze, my knees weak. Something bigger? Dangerous? I realized the nightmare I was living was far more complex than I had imagined. And in that moment, I knew my life was about to spiral into chaos. The storm of betrayal, fear, and suspense had only just begun, and I had no idea how deep it would go, how much I would lose, and what the shocking truth behind this child really was. I stepped inside the cabin cautiously, every nerve screaming at me to run, but I needed answers. Alex didn't move, his eyes never leaving mine, the baby clutched tightly against his chest. She followed me, holding the locked box, her hands trembling. "Open it," she whispered, voice barely audible. My hand shook as I took the box, feeling the weight of months of secrets in my hands. The lock clicked open, revealing documents, photos, and a USB drive. My heart sank as I flipped through the papers. Birth certificates, medical reports, legal documents, everything pointed to a hidden network of lies, a life I had no idea existed. And then I saw it, a photo of her with another man in a hospital room, holding the baby with a smile so familiar, so intimate, it made me want to scream. She whispered, "He's the father, but not just that. Alex isn't just involved with us. He's part of something bigger. Something dangerous. I never wanted you dragged into this." My blood ran cold. The realization hit me like a thunderclap. The child, the lies, the secret life, it was all connected to something I couldn't comprehend. Alex finally spoke, voice low and menacing. "You need to understand. Staying here, following her, you've already crossed the line. Whatever you think you know, it's nothing compared to the truth." My mind raced, trying to process the layers of betrayal, danger, and deception. She fell to her knees, sobbing, and whispered, "I didn't want to lose you, but I couldn't tell you the truth. Not like this. Not ever." I felt a mix of anger, heartbreak, and fear unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and family was collapsing around me. And then, from the corner of my eye, I noticed something I hadn't expected, another child, hiding in the shadows, watching silently. My stomach twisted. This wasn't just about one secret baby, one betrayal. It was far bigger, far darker, and it was about to consume us all. The suspense, the fear, the anger, it all hit me at once. I realized in that moment that my life, my marriage, my very understanding of reality had been shattered forever. I froze as I saw the second child, barely old enough to walk, hiding behind a curtain, eyes wide with fear. My heart pounded. I couldn't believe it. 2 children? 2 lives she had kept secret from me, while I thought everything was normal. I turned to her, my voice trembling. "Why? How could you do this?" She looked at me, tears streaming, and whispered, "I never wanted to hurt you. I thought I could protect you, protect us." My anger boiled over. Protect me? Protect us? She had built a lie, a hidden life, while I lived completely in the dark. Alex stepped closer, his tone dark, almost threatening. "You think this is just betrayal? You have no idea what's at stake. These children, they're part of something bigger, something dangerous. If you try to interfere, it won't end well." I felt my chest tighten. Bigger? Dangerous? I realized I was in a nightmare that went far beyond adultery. I demanded answers. "Tell me everything. I need the truth now." She hesitated, looking at Alex for reassurance, then finally spoke. "The children, they are part of a secret experiment, something they don't want the world to know. I had no choice but to hide them. They wanted to take them, But I stopped them. That's why I lied. That's why I kept the secret. My mind reeled. Experiment? Secret? Children? It was like the ground had dropped from beneath me. My wife, the woman I loved and trusted, had been living a life I never even imagined. And these children, my children, or not mine, were in danger, entangled in something beyond my comprehension. Alex stepped closer, voice menacing. You've seen too much. You need to leave now, before it's too late. But I couldn't. I had to know everything, even if it destroyed me. I glanced at her, at the children, and realized the full scope of betrayal. My life, my marriage, my trust, everything was shattered. And then she handed me the USB drive, whispering, Everything is on here, the truth, the proof, but once you see it, there's no going back. My hand shook as I took it. I realized that the moment I plugged it in, my life would change forever, and there was no escape from the shocking reality waiting for me. I plugged in the USB drive, hands trembling so badly I could barely hold it. The screen lit up, and what I saw made my stomach drop. Photos, videos, messages, everything I feared was true, and even worse, it went beyond what I could imagine. My wife's secret life, the children, Alex, they weren't just hiding a betrayal, they were part of a network, a web of lies, money, and manipulation. There were videos showing meetings with strangers, documents about legal loopholes and identities, and photos of the children with people I didn't recognize, all smiling, all part of a plan I had no control over. I felt my world crumble. I turned to her, anger and disbelief boiling inside me. How could you do this? How could you lie to me for so long? She sobbed. I did it to protect you. I had no choice. They would have taken everything from us, the children, even your life. My hand shook, my chest ached, but my curiosity overpowered my fear. I had to see everything. I scrolled through emails showing secret transfers, hidden meetings, threats if anyone interfered. I realized then that my life, the life I thought I knew, was a lie. And the children were at the center of it all. Alex stepped forward, voice dark. Now you know. There's no going back. You've seen the truth, and it changes everything. I wanted to scream, to run, to smash everything around me, but the truth was too heavy. My mind raced, trying to process what I had just discovered. Everything I had trusted, every smile, every word, every moment with her, it had been built on deception. And then she whispered something that made my blood run cold. You need to understand, one of the children, isn't just part of this network, they are the key. The key to everything. My heart stopped. Key? Everything? I realized then that nothing I thought I knew about family, love, or trust mattered anymore. The nightmare I had uncovered wasn't over, it was only beginning. And the truth about the child that wasn't mine, it was far more shocking than I could ever imagine. I couldn't look away from the screen. The USB drive revealed files I didn't even know existed, plans, identities, and secrets about the children that made my blood run cold. One document caught my eye, a genetic report. I stared at it in disbelief. One of the children, the one I thought wasn't mine, carried DNA that linked them not just to Alex, but to a powerful, shadowy organization I had never heard of. My mind reeled. This wasn't just betrayal, it was manipulation, control, and danger on a scale I couldn't comprehend. I turned to my wife, voice shaking. What did you get us into? What are these children? She looked at me with tears streaming down her face. I tried to protect them, to protect you, but I didn't know how. They needed someone outside their control, someone who could hide them. That's why I lied. That's why I kept everything secret. I felt rage, heartbreak, and terror all at once. Everything I had loved and trusted was gone, replaced by fear and confusion. Then Alex stepped forward, holding the baby, voice low and threatening. Now that you know, there's no turning back. They won't forgive exposure. They never do. My head spun. Who? Who wouldn't forgive? I realized the reality I was living was far bigger than a simple affair, far darker than a hidden child. And then my wife handed me another file, a photo of the second child, eyes wide, innocent, unaware, and I realized that this nightmare wasn't over. One child, a secret father, and a network of people ready to strike if their secrets were revealed. I felt trapped, powerless, but I couldn't walk away. I had to uncover everything, even if it destroyed me. And in that moment, I knew the final revelation, the shocking truth about the child, the secret, the betrayal, was about to hit me, and it would change my life forever. I took a deep breath and opened the final file on the USB drive. My hand shook violently. There, in front of me, was the truth. The child I thought wasn't mine, actually was mine. My wife's lies weren't about infidelity. They were about protection. Alex, the man I hated, wasn't the father. She had created the illusion of betrayal to hide the child from a dangerous group trying to claim them, a shadowy organization that controlled lives, identities, and even destinies. My mind exploded with disbelief. All this time, I had thought she had deceived me, that my trust had been shattered beyond repair. But the truth was even more shocking. She had risked everything to keep our child safe. Tears streamed down my face as I realized the gravity of everything. The fear, the deception, the danger, they were all sacrifices she made out of love. Alex wasn't just involved in the deception. He was a mercenary, paid to manipulate situations, to scare us into submission. She had outsmarted him at every turn. I turned to her, voice breaking. All this time, it was to protect them, to protect us. She nodded, exhausted, trembling. Yes. I couldn't tell you. If I did, they would have taken everything. I had to make you believe the worst. My heart ached, guilt and relief crashing over me at once. I held our child in my arms, feeling the weight of months of lies, fear, and danger melt away. I realized then that love isn't just trust. It's sacrifice, courage, and sometimes unbearable pain. I looked at her, whispering, I understand now. I forgive you. And in that moment, the nightmare ended, but the memory of the deception, the danger, and the unimaginable truths would haunt me forever. Our lives were changed, forever bonded by secrets, courage, and the shocking truth that sometimes the deepest lies hide the greatest love. Wow, what a shocking story, right? I can't believe everything we just uncovered together. If this video left you speechless, angry, or totally shocked, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps the channel keep bringing you unbelievable stories like this. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another jaw-dropping story. I'd love to hear from you too. Tell me in the comments which part shocked you the most, or share a crazy story of your own. I read every single comment and love connecting with all of you. Your support means the world, and I promise we have so many more stories that will blow your mind. Thank you for watching, stay amazing, and I'll see you in the next one with another unbelievable tale.